Hello and welcome everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Rachel here from Beads by Verchiel, as always on a Thursday. So please do give me a thumbs up and do pop me a note in the comments so I know you were present with me. I'm getting a little bit more used to the new setup. I can see some of you in the house already. Bear with me whilst I just organise my screens and say hi to you all. Hello Maxine, hello Linda, hello Kim, hello Jane, hello Sue and everyone else. Hello, have I said hello twice to Linda? Yes I have, sorry. Hello Deb, very professional, thank you. My brother hopefully is going to do me a little ditty for the beginning because I have to time it to just a minute to actually fit in with the countdown. Oh, crystal clear tonight, yay! So I'm going to turn on my other camera. So okay, so here's camera 2 and you can see me in the corner, and if I'm feeling really brave, let's see, this one, oh there we go, that's back on. So if I'm feeling really brave you can see it from another angle, but I'd really like to know when we get there. You might find that a little bit confusing, too much going on. So what we're going to do tonight, let me show you on the screen. So we're actually going to be doing this Super Duo necklace. Now, as many of you know, this is one of my favourite necklaces, and this is a total bead soup. It's everything thrown in. I think I even use twin beads and super duos. Now, if you've never worked with them before, twin beads are a flatter shape than the super duos that have got like a little ridge in them. They're made by 2 different companies as well. This is the other one. I apologise, I have lots of ums while I'm getting used to dealing with the new system, but it really is nice to actually be able to see all your comments quite clearly. Hello Carol. So this is the other one. Now this is kind of a black, but I had another one in gunmetal. It was my favourite. I absolutely loved it, but I don't know what I've done with it, to be perfectly honest with you. I can't find it. Last week we did Super Duo Hearts. That is now on YouTube as well, so you can view that all on YouTube. Hello Kay, hello Carol. Right, let's just go back to camera 1 again. So I'd love to know how many of you tried the Super Duo last week, the pattern for last week. I know quite a few of you have. Also, don't forget, hop on over to our sister group, Beaders of Beads by Verchiel, and we have 3 very lovely ladies that are handling the admin in there: Linda, Kim and Frances B. I always say Frances B because Frances W helps me with my stringing and lots of other bits and pieces with my business as well. It would be a bit confusing, isn't it? Now, this isn't a pattern that I've come up with, but having said that, I think it's quite a generic sort of organic thing to do with super duos. The necklaces I've got have got more super duos in the diameter of it. The one I'm going to show you tonight is the smaller one, the thinner one. It's really easy to adapt. A, it uses less beads, and B, it's thinner. C, it's quicker to make as well. And I've watched lots of YouTube videos, and the thing that really used to confuse me was the start. I couldn't get my head around it, so I've come up with a different way to start it, and I do hope that you'll get along with it okay as well. It's really a lot more visual way of actually seeing it. I'd suggest you start with using 2 needles as well. If you've never done any beadwork before, we're using size 10 beading needles. I'm using Nymo as well, and I'm using my very battered wax, which I just literally pop the groove of the thread along there to just help stop it from fraying, and just really to help it stay intact a little bit better as well. So we are going to go to camera 2. There we go, and we're going to get started. Let's have a look, see if I've missed anybody. Hello Trisha, hello Saba, hello Francis. Trisha said Superduo hearts are on my to-do list. Well, I look forward to seeing you when that's done. So braining gear, I look forward to seeing it when it's all made. And don't forget, please people, do post in our Beaders of Beads by Verchiel any of your crafty makes. Doesn't have to be jewellery. Jane hasn't tried the hearts yet, but going to be having a go soon. Hello Mandy. Oh, Saba said she was on a page which shows the video will start soon. I was waiting. Oh, I can't see it. Bear with me. I was waiting there but changed to this one. Oh, okay. I'm not sure what I've done there. Sorry about that. So was Francis. It was all greyed out. Ooh. Wonder what I've done. I am in the group, aren't I? Not in my page. Yes. Hope so. So... Hi Hilary, hello Jackie. June says she can only comment on her phone. Oh, okay. Hopefully it's not my new setup. Right, let's get started. So hopefully this is okay for you all. So I have cut, do you know what, in terms of suggesting the length of thread, work with as much as you can. This is my top tip as well. We're going to bank one of the needles in a bit and work with one. And it's also a way of threading on a longer piece without having to thread on more afterwards. So I would suggest, if you can, work with 2.5, maybe more, so you've got 1.5 each side. Now I'm just going to zoom in. There we go. I'm adding one bead at the bottom, and each needle is going through the holes at the side. I'm using the Jet AB Superduos and the Capri Topaz. So I've got one on either side, just in one of the holes, and then I'm going to go through both holes on the next one. Now you might see a lot of videos where they actually show you how to do it in a circle. I couldn't really quite get my head around that, so I do hope that you find this useful. You don't have to use your right and your left hand, it's just I'm comfortable with doing that. Let's try and put this in some kind of camera view, shall I? Alright, so one there at the bottom, one either side, but through both holes, through one hole, if that makes sense. The other thing to check on these, now hands up, how many of you have gotten really well into a project? You've sewn your Superduo in already, you get to the second round where you're going to use the second hole, and lo and behold, the hole sealed. Unfortunately, it's just one of those manufacturing faults that occurs with, doesn't happen very often with the Superduos, it happens more with the twin beads, if I'm honest. And it's really frustrating, so it's a good habit to get into, to actually check. Now, let's just show you that. Now, can you see quite clearly? Sorry for the shadow, I'm just going to zoom in. So we've used both holes on the bottom one. We've gone through one hole on the next two, so side by side. Both holes in that one hole, both. Okay, does that make sense? Now, to make it into a loop, that's the combination you need to do. So this one on this side is going to go all the way back up the holes. So if you imagine a straight line, so you're going in the right hole of the bottom one, the left hole of the next one, the right hole, left hole, and so on. And this is as complicated as it gets. After this, it really is quite simple. And I just hope that I'm not actually confusing everybody totally from this. So just to clarify, you are working with the thread on the side that you're on. Don't cross over your threads. You could do this one at a time if you want to, but I just wanted to show you how that works. So pull that through. Do you know the other thing that's a really good idea to have is a set of pliers, just in case it gets stuck, your thread. Now I'm going to pull the other one through first before I do anything else. So can you see how those threads have just made a loop? And then what we're going to do is actually pull that so that they become a loop. Do it one at a time. So you've got 3 pointing up at the top, 3 on the other side. Now, if you've not done any bead weaving before, you would not have heard of reinforcing. All reinforcing is, it's the same with bead embroidery, is we're going to go back round. So we're just going to, if you imagine a line, so you're going in the top of some beads and the bottom of the others. Now I'm just going to zoom back down again so that you can see what I'm doing. Now let me see. Learned that the hard way. Yes, absolutely. It's one of those things we all learn, isn't it? Right, you need a good old zoom in really, don't you, for that? Hopefully that's okay. Now I would reinforce the other side as well, and now what I would suggest on this is that you really take your time to ensure that you've got a good tight tension, because it'll end up like, as I say, always a saggy pair of tights. So if it's really loose, you can always go back and do this reinforcing. So this is our starting point. That is as hard as it gets, okay? Yes, you can use any 2 holes, no problem. So I'm going to bank one of the needles, it doesn't matter which one. But what I do like to do is just to wrap the tail around my little finger. And the way you want it is, I'm just trying to get this in the right mode. Right, I'm going to have to zoom out a little bit, it's too close. So to make sure you're holding it the right way, you've got these 3 little beads pointing up and 3 underneath it. Now step up into the second hole of one of the beads that sticks up. And what we're going to do, so that you know you've finished every round, is we're going to put 3 beads to one side. So when you've used those 3 beads, you know you're ready to start another round. So add the bead and go through the top hole of the next one that's pointing up. Add another one and go through the next second hole of the one that's pointing up, the one that's highest. Add another and go through the first one. Now what I'd suggest is that you go all the way back round those 3, or at least go back round 1 or 2 of them, just to tighten up and pull. Now I'm going to try popping one of the other cameras on and closing up, just to see if you can get another camera angle on it. Sorry. So you can look at both. If you find it really confusing, just let me know and I'll switch it off. So we've finished those 3 and we're going to step up into the second hole, but you notice we're reversing the direction, so at the end of every 3 you're going back in the opposite direction. Now pop 3 to one side so that you know when you've done that you've finished the next round. So add it and go through the next bead that's sticking up and keep doing the same, and then go back round. But it's a really handy little tip whilst you're getting used to it, is just to actually put those 3 beads on your beading mat so you know you've actually worked the 3, because it just takes a little bit of getting used to. Okay, so I've reinforced that and I'm going to step up into the second hole. It doesn't matter which one you step up into, it's not a problem. Please, oh, that shot well across the room. That's in the window, that is. It's a good aim. Do you know when Francis W, hope you don't mind me calling you Francis B and Francis W, when she came round the other day, she said, "Oh, that's an interesting combination. There's a Nerf bullet on your shelf." So yeah, there's always lots of interesting things. David likes his Nerf guns, as you can see. That just made me think of it. Totally random. Now, I can't see any comments, so I'm just going to refresh my comment feed. It might just be that you're just watching at the minute or nodding off. Hopefully. Not nodding off yet, but do let me know if you can see that. So you're going to step up into the second hole. Now I'm going to zoom in as far as we can go now. Right, there we go. Let's see if we can get a good old zoom in there. 1, 2, 3. So add in 1, go through the next top hole, add in 1, go through the next top hole, add in 1 and go through the first hole. Is that better? It looks better on my screen. So Trisha, you're saying you prefer the video, the view that's showing what you would see. Shall I turn the other one off? Because I know when I've watched a video before, I'm like, oh, I don't know where to look. So please do let me know. I won't be offended. Step up into the second hole. But can you see how beautifully that's growing? I love all of the sheen on those. You're just concentrating. Right, so we've got the 3. I just keep looking on the screen just to make sure. And also, you'll have to forgive me, because you've got the camera on my face as well. When I'm reading and concentrating, I am a terrible frowner. I don't have my tongue out, but I really frown. It's my concentration face. I'm going to do a little bit, oh, gone off camera, going to do a little bit more. And I've got a number of things I want to show you, okay? I want to show you, right, you've run out of thread. How do you tie it off? How do you tie a new thread? How you're going to join it with the start of your necklace. How you're going to add a clasp if you want to put a clasp on it as well. So we've got lots of things that I'd like to show you in the half an hour that we've got left. Oh, so June says she can see fine, but there's no comment box available in Firefox. Is that like an app that you're using, June, the Firefox? I wonder if that's because I'm using OBS, which is a platform. Alright, so there we go. I'm just going to do a little bit more because I want some more to actually show you how to finish off one of the techniques at the end, and then in a moment we are going to go and switch to the rope that I've been making. Now, you could probably do a rope in an evening, okay, in front of the telly. It does take a while. It just depends on, you know, how struck you are on doing repetition. Yeah, I get the fact that you're going to have to watch the start again, but I'd really appreciate your feedback as to, you know, how you found it, because I haven't seen anybody else start off with that technique before. It's just the fact that I needed to get my head round it, and that was the easiest way for me. Now, if you want a thicker rope, you would use exactly the same start technique, but just add more beads. Now, have you got the gist of this now? Firefox is my browser on my computer. Oh, okay. The only thing I can think of, June, is whether or not they're doing any Facebook updates at the moment. There's been loads of updates in the last few weeks, and it just seems to throw everything out. Now, just to show you, you step up in the one that's obviously near the top. So Jackie says she can comment with a small screen, but not with the full screen. Okay. It does look easier. Okay, good. I'm just using something very random, Sharon. You can create a pattern effect, but this is just totally random. I'm just having a look at your comments, that's why I've gone quiet. Hello, Nora. Brilliant. Deb's gonna give it a go. Right, Maxine thinks it's Facebook as it's been the same on hers all day. Okay, so that's kind of a relief. So if you've got the gist of that, you continue making your rope until you get it the length you want. Now, if you're going to pop it over your head, you're going to have to make sure you make it long enough to have without a clasp. And really you're just going to have to keep testing it over your head. Now this is one that I've made, okay, and I'm going to show you how to finish off and how to tie off thread and tie in new thread. Okay, now this one that I've done has used up just under 40 grams of Superduos. It was a mix, but I did start with some kind of random order, if that makes sense. I think this one might be a little bit easier to see, so I'm just going to add another row in. And then I'm going to tie it off. Now with most beadwork projects, I normally say to you, okay, build in your new thread before you basically tie off. But on this one, you don't need to build in your new thread first. I would tie this one off because it's just pretty easy to see. Now to tie off, you can actually step down wherever you like, follow what we call the thread path, so don't go anywhere new, go under or through thread in between beads, and before you pull it tight, form a loop. Go through another couple of beads and do the same. Now if your thread breaks, just follow exactly the same technique. So I'm going to thread that underneath one of the thread bars, you can step in to the second hole so you change direction, and okay, so that's your tying off. And then you'd cut your thread, or you'd use one of the lighter things as well. Lighter things, what's it called? Thread zapper. Now I'm sure yes I did thread a needle earlier, thought I had. Okay, now I'm going to show you how. Let's go switch to both, and what we're going to do is adding in new thread. Okay, so to add new thread, what we actually do, start a little bit further down and push your needle through so that you've got a tail that you can hold on to. And tie in the same way you tied off. So go through one of the threads or under it and tie off, continue, so you're just attaching it around the threads in between. So again, I do it in 2 or 3. It's really important about doing this, because if you're doing a rope, you're not going to be able to make it just on the one thread. Now I'm just randomly stepping up. Okay, and then I'm going to step up into the row that I've been working on. Okay, step up into the second hole, ready to start the next round. So I'll just do a few more because I think it's a bit clearer on this camera and on these colours. So just reinforce. Does the thread show in between the beads? Yes, unless you've got a really good match on colour. Now, I've actually done another pattern, which I know Betty spotted it as well. I was thinking, do you know what? There's got to be room for some seed beads in between those. So I have actually done another pattern. It might have been done by someone else before, I really don't know. But I'll show you what it looks like. It creates a lovely, well, completely different effect, to be honest. I've used a grey on this one. As you can see it. So the secret really is to have lots of different colours. Nymo's a really cheap thread to have lots of different colours in. So that might be what you want to do, is keep lots of different colours in it. Right, now we're going to join it. So, one of my favourite things about this is the fact that there's no clasp. Now, that little tail you can cut off there. Now, this reminds me of a zip. Okay, can you see how that locks in together? That is exactly as we're going to stitch it. So you would normally, you'd step up into the second hole. Instead of picking up a bead or a Superduo, I'm going to go through the top hole of the other side, like so. I just need to make sure, I'm not sure I'm in the right, let's just lay it down so that we know exactly where it's going to be. That's better. So lay it down as it slots in. Sorry about that, going off camera. So you go through the hole on that one and through the hole on the other side, like your zip. One on this one, one on that one. One on this one and the last one. And you've joined it. And how cool is that? You can't even see the join. So you would tie off as you would normally. I'd suggest that you just go back round that just to secure it in place. Metallic thread. Do you know what? I don't even know if they do a metallic thread. Right, I'm sorry if I've missed any of your comments. Now I'm going to tie off again in a few different places. Okay, always push your needle through a couple more beads before you trim off. So there we have one complete rope, which I'll show you in a second. I want to show you an idea for adding a clasp on the end. Now what you need is a head pin. For those of you that watched the Kumihimo with the cone ends, it's going to be a very similar technique. Now I'm going to use the other end, so, oh, there we go. So you know I had it in half. Well, when you've run out the other one, rather than adding a new thread, you can always just start on your other thread. Because it's opposite, it really confuses the heck out of me. Right, okay, let's move those to one side. Right, so I'm going to pop that head pin inside with the head pin area inside the Superduo, and then I'm going to actually bead around it for a couple of rounds. It really isn't organically because it's mirrored. It's really confusing when you look on the screen. And you want to tighten that up as well. So going to step up. Right, let's just zoom out a bit because I'm really going off piece there. Step up into the second hole. Let's do another round. 1, 2, I'm getting annoyed with myself now. Okay, so I am just going to tighten that up a bit, but can you see that's quite sturdy in there? Now, on the next round, I am just going to add a seed bead in between each one. And pull that in. Is that in focus? Or is that too close and it's going distorted? Right. Okay. So I'm going to just tie off. Just make sure that that's really nice and tight. Let's just zoom out a bit more. Hi Lou, lovely to have you. Now Lou is a fantastic designer and demonstrator that's regularly on the craft store, and I know that Lou likes jewellery making as well. Now I'm just going to tie that off. I think you do all sorts, don't you? It's a little fuzzy. Yeah, I did wonder. Let's just zoom out a little bit. Right, so I'm just tying this off, and what I'm doing is I'm going to show you how we actually add the end caps on. Right, so imagine we've done all our tying off. So this is if you want to do either a bracelet with a clasp or a necklace with a clasp. That worked really well. That's just popped out there, you didn't see that. Now I'm going to add a little bead on the end there to keep it nice. I'm going to pop a cone end on the top. Then we're going to do it like a pair of earrings. We're going to cut it so that you've got about 1 centimetre left at the end. Turn it at a right angle and then loop it back. And then what you would do with that is you'd then open up and add your clasp and your findings. So you could either go for the complete, I'd tidy that up a little bit. So basically what's gone wrong there, I'll be totally honest with you, is that it's not tight enough around the head pin. So you just need to reinforce it and make sure that's nice and strong. So you can go for that look or that look. Okay, so I'm actually going to go right on main camera now. Before I do that, will the other one work? No, let's just go. Right, so let's show you the finished results. So this is a necklace. I'm going to bag this necklace for myself because I love all of the colours in it. So, you know, if you've got lots of ends of, you know, perhaps you've been working on projects, you've been doing different colours for different orders and you want to use up all your odds and ends, this is great. You could either have a little system where you pick one up and going around with them, or you can chuck them all in and see what comes out with it. With this one, I must confess, I did have a little bit of a system going which I kept reversing on there, but like I say, this is really good for people with allergies because you've got no clasp whatsoever. You can make this in bracelet form as well, and you could do the little cone ends as well. Now, you know, I mentioned to you about adding seed beads. Now I will just put you on the overhead camera again so that I can show you a close-up. Now next week we are going to do a Q&A session. So for those of you that haven't joined for a Q&A before, basically a week in advance, just throw me any questions. I can't handle them all, unfortunately, in the time that we've got, but I'll deal with as many as I can, and I'll do probably about 3 mini demos along the way as well. So we've got that next week, but the week after, I didn't know if you fancied doing this one with Superduos. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more so that you can see. This one is the blue Traverna Matabo. It's absolutely, do you know, it reminds me of lapis lazuli with all of the colour combinations. But can you see, just by adding a seed bead in between, it's created this like holy type rope. Now it is pretty simple in the sense of it's exactly the same technique, but it's just adding a seed bead in between. Perhaps you might like me to show you how to do that, or perhaps you might like me to show you how to do another technique using Superduos, perhaps even making some beads that you can pop into a necklace as well. So do let me know what you fancy doing. Now don't forget, I have got a giveaway, so I'm going to let it run. I'll try not to forget. Do you know what? So, because I used to do it on a Thursday, I used to be in a rigid sort of like would remember it, but because I say right, I let it run and then I'll announce the winners on Saturday, I keep forgetting, but I do get there eventually. Now this week I've got a little giveaway, which is this lovely gemstone bead strand. So you've got a bit of everything in there. You've got prehnite, you've got agate, you've got jasper, I think you might even have moonstone in there as well, and these super cute little tree of life charms as well. All you need to do is just make sure you've liked the post and popped a comment in there as well. So I am just going to have a quick look at your comments before I let you go. hopefully it's wasn't so fuzzy, and I do apologise because I know I'm getting used to the new camera setup, and I think I kept going off camera, so apologies for that. Thank you so much. I'm so pleased you're liking it. I'm glad you're going to give it a go, Lou. And Lou, we have another group called Beaders of Beads by Verchiel. I think you're in that one as well. It would be so lovely to see any makes that you've done. And likewise, for anybody that's not in the group already, please do share your makes. We love having a little chat. Betty's at work. We won't tell anyone, Betty. Betty's had a sneaky peek of the video. Scale light rope. It is, isn't it? I might get some more of those blue type beads. It doesn't really do it any justice in the photographs. Do that one, please. Yeah? Okay. It does look like a string of flowers, Sharon. Absolutely. Love the addition of seed beads. Trisha, that is a fabulous idea. I will announce the winner on Sunday in the morning when I do my news and updates. And if I don't, will you remind me? I'll do my best. I am so pleased that you all enjoyed. I'm going to love you and leave you because I know that I do tend to waffle on at the end. I've just got a little end video just to close up, just so that you can see any links. So anyway, over and out. You take care. Bye.